and welcome back. Hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Massachusetts Zone 6A with an average last frost date of May 15th, and I'm super excited to go ahead and tell you about my Dahlia seedlings. Now, if you didn't see, back on March 16th, I went ahead and did some seed starting with my dahlias in these Tupperware containers. Now, this is my first time going ahead in seed starting dahlias. Last year, I just went ahead and bought tubers from Costco and I had great luck with them. And I really wanted to go ahead and get more plants for my garden, but I didn't want to spend the money on tubers. So I decided to go ahead and get some seeds. Now, I only paid for some seeds from Walmart. I got the American Seed brand. They're only 50 cents, and I got a dwarf variety that I plan on going ahead and planting at the school that I teach at. And then I also got a ton from seed swapping. And when I was looking it up, everyone that I read or watched said that it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks for germination. Germination can be very sporadic, so I went ahead and did them in these Tupperware containers so that way I could go ahead and pot them up whenever they decide to go ahead and sprout. Now, yesterday before I went to bed, which was a day later after seed starting them, I noticed some little green stems kind of unfolding from the seeds. And I was like, there is no way. Like, I thought it was going to be 2 to 3 weeks. I wasn't planning on having to go ahead. And 3 days later, actually like 2 days later, because today's the 18th. So I did everything on the 16th, and then on the 18th, I actually opened it up and I have a bunch of germination in my trays. This is just one of them. I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the other trays. Now, not everything has germinated, but these are the ones from American Seed that I paid 50 cents for. So this is the brand right here. It's a dwarf variety, and there's germination. And then some of my Bee's Choice ones had some, which I was super thrilled about. Baker Creek ones, I believe, also germinated. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you those now. And then we're gonna go ahead and just pot up some. Before we go ahead and pot these up, I just wanted to go and show you how crazy and fast germination was. So these right here were planted on the 16th of March. Today is the 18th of March. And these are gonna be my 50-cent ones from Walmart from the American Seed, the dwarf variety. And I already have a handful popping up right now. So we're going to be going ahead and potting those up today. In this tray right here, I have 4 coming up. These were actually 4, and then there's 2 more that are starting to appear. These were from seed swapping. I'm pretty sure this was a Baker Creek variety. And then these ones right here haven't emerged yet. I think some of the ones I got from seed swapping were actually a few years old. So hopefully those will pop up. So we're going to go ahead and move those on up. Here were my Bee's Choice that I got. These are open pollinated seeds collected from the floret that were harvested from someone in Connecticut. So I do have one popping up over here, and then I do have another down there. So that is great. I am happy with anything that can go ahead and sprout from this baggie right here. And I'm going to be thrilled with anything that goes ahead and sprouts from this container. All right, we have another container here. It doesn't look like anything is sprouting yet. Oh, actually, I lied. There is one in that corner. And then in this Tupperware as well, nothing was sprouted, so I'm not going to open it because honestly, even though this saves so much space, it is quite a pain for me to go ahead and open these up. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this one up, so hopefully more will pop up in the next few days. And here is my last container, which I am like over the moon about. These were all from seed swapping. This was that pom-pom variety. I even just got some more today. I went back to the lady's house and grabbed more. So I'm thrilled. I have so much potting up to do, but we're just going to go ahead and just take 6 to go ahead and do just together. And then I will do the rest tonight once the kids are asleep. Now, if you can't tell, I am like shocked. I'm excited and thrilled. I'm still also in my teaching clothes, and I was like, I got to go ahead and just show everyone really quick. So normally what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna pot them up in those bigger 15 cell trays. That way they have lots of room to grow. And that way I don't have to go ahead and keep potting them up. But for purposes right now, my kids are on a walk. We just finished dinner. So I want to go ahead and get at least 6 of them in a little 6L tray, so that way you can go ahead and see, because I'll probably end up going ahead and potting them up after they're in bed. So we're gonna go ahead and just take 6 of them from here. We're gonna put them in a 6L tray, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get them under the lights. So here we go. All right, now before I go ahead and move the camera so you can see me actually like picking them out, I just wanted to talk about my seed starting mix. As always, I just like to do a refresher just in case if you haven't seen previous videos. So I just have some Espoma seed starting mix. I just go ahead and pre-moisten it. And if you find any of like little debris or chunks still left in here, like wood chips, I just go ahead and like sticks, I just push them off to the side. So I have a clear 6L tray. Again, I actually really like these ones. You can go ahead and see the root development. It's actually really cool to see my tomatoes that I didn't move into here in my solo cups. I can actually see the roots, so I know when to go ahead and pot them up. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to fill them in. And you wanna make sure that you try and go ahead and get your soil all the way down. So I just go ahead and I like to squish it in, and that way you won't have any air pockets. Now I'm not gonna do it too firm because I do also wanna use my dauber and make a good hole for my dahlias, because we're gonna go ahead and bury those roots up to the leaves. Now, if you find that you also are watering your plants and some of your cells are still dry after you go ahead and bottom water, it might be because there's an air pocket in there. So you might just want to go back and then press it in. Sometimes I have that happen, when, especially if I'm starting like 40 of them and at the same time. I mean, sometimes it's impossible when you're rushing to go ahead and make sure you get everything. So this is what it will look like in the end. And we're going to go ahead and put some Dahlia seedlings in, which I am just over the moon about. All right, so again, these are going to be the ones from Walmart. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take the ones that are definitely fully out. This one that still hasn't quite fully popped out yet, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that, and then I'm gonna do the rest of them later tonight, like I said. So first I have my little dauber. I get these from my seed starting kits. They're so useful. I'm gonna go ahead and push it all the way down, and I'm going to make a hole for all of these. And then also don't forget to go ahead and make sure that you make a plant tag with them, especially if you're only going to be doing a few at a time. So these are all set to go. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to lightly try to loosen it up. Now, you don't want to go ahead and pull from the stem. You want to make sure that you go ahead and use your hands and gently hold one of the leaves. That way, if the stem breaks, you're going to be kind of out of luck. So I kind of like to just use my leaves and then just be super gentle, because I also have more around here. Madeline did help me, so I'm not quite sure how we did with spacing everything, but there we go. So we're going to go ahead, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fill that back in. And if I can get it on my camera, then we have our root already, and that was like insanely fast. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to guide it all the way down. That is why I love this thing. I get them, like I said, I have them all over the place, and I have some still out in the garden, I'm pretty sure. And I am going to just go ahead and press down, being very mindful of the stem and getting those air pockets out. So we have one down, and that is what it's going to look like. So you can go ahead and put it just to the leaves. I have it poking out just a little bit, but that's fine. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to this one right here. Again, I am just going to lightly just help guide and loosen it. That's why I love seed starting mix. It is just so lightweight and airy. And then this one actually has the seed pod still there. So I'm just pluck that off gently. And then this one's going to be a little bit smaller, but it will do just fine. So again, we're gonna use our dauber to go ahead. And I'm just gonna kind of fill around it. And then we are going to gently press in around to get all those air pockets out. And now we have 2 little seedlings in there. Again, I am just amazed. I was not expecting them to germinate this fast. I thought at least I would have till the weekend to go ahead and pot these up, but I guess they had other plans. All right, again, I'm just really trying to gently guide it up while holding a leaf. And then I don't know which way this is turning. There we go. Wow, look at that root. Sorry, the lighting is really off. It is about 6:15 at night. And my kids, again, are on a walk. So we're going to go ahead and put this one in. And I'm going to see if I can just ever so gently prick that little pot off. All right, so we're going to go ahead again, guide it in, and then we're going to backfill. And then compress down so that way we have no air pockets. And 3 down, 3 to go. And like I said, I do plan on doing the rest later. And there you have it. We have 6 of them, all nicely potted up. I'm going to go ahead and get a plant tag and get on with our night. All right, and there we have it. It is as simple as that. Now, again, this is my first time going ahead and using this method for seed starting. Now, while this is a great way of saving space on my heat mat, it's kind of not super practical for my lifestyle because I tend to be up until like 8 o'clock with the kids, getting them ready for bed, and then having to keep going and plucking them out and putting them in trays is a little bit trickier for me, but I'm sure if I was like super dedicated, this would actually work out great, especially because I am starting so much. So sometimes those cell trays of like the 40 count that I have or the 6 cells and doing a bunch of them is a little bit easier for me because I am just so busy working full time and then having the kids and making dinner, getting them ready for bed, that I probably would be up for a while getting this ready. So sometimes it's just, you know, you give or take, but I am just thrilled with the way that this was for germination. I will definitely be using this method again, especially because I'm getting a little bit tight on space and I still need to get that darn greenhouse going. So I'm hoping maybe this weekend or next, we'll start working on the walls. But again, thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited that these were just, you know, germinating just so fast. I literally cannot believe it. So again, if you find this helpful or if you want to go ahead and just stay tuned with all the things growing, go ahead, click like and subscribe and hit that bell button. That way you'll be notified anytime I have anything new popping up. We still have marigolds that are growing like weeds right now. And again, I just did those on Sunday as well. So it has just been busy, and I'm just overwhelmed, I think, as I'm sure a lot of you are. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.